we're going to be talking about Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. Ben, you have seen this movie.
I've seen this movie.
And Mara has. Okay. Ben, what did you think of it first? And what were your expectations going in?
My expectations going in, like, Jodie Comer is a big up-and-comer. I haven't watched Killing Eve, so, you know, she's like an up-and-comer for me. I'm sure people that watch Killing Eve, like, know her and love her already. But I was excited about that. You know, Matt Damon, he's made his entire life of Matt Damon face, text over his face poster. That's like Matt Damon's like entire career. Like, congrats. And then, you know, like Adam Driver, I'll go see anything he's in. But no, like Ridley Scott, like he just makes movies, man. Like the fact that he has 2 movies coming out within 2 months of each other and he's 83 years old. Like the guy is killing it. And as much as I want to see both of these movies, just like I want to see Last Duel because it looked good. And then I want to buy out a theater and have everybody from this community dress like they're in the Met Gala and get shit-faced and go watch House of Gucci because it looks so terrible.
Yes.
And I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
I cannot wait for House of Gucci. It looks...
Let's do it after Spectacular.
Yes,
I'm down.
Right now on AMC and watch House of Gucci. So pack your suits, pack your Met Gala.
As long as we tell Dagnino it's at a drive-in in like Santa Fe.
Yeah. But I can't wait for either of them. But no, great performances, really well told story because, like, you know, 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, wait, we are at a bristling pace right now. How are they going to do this? And then slowly getting closer and closer to the truth about what happened. And I really, really liked it. I thought it was a great performance by all 3. Ben Affleck is having the time of his life. Like,
yes,
like
that's what Jacob told me when he's like,
come in, take your pants off. Like that's literally like one of his lines. Like, come in, take your pants off. I do love that. Like they're just talking in their regular accents, like just talking.
Oh
but then like every once in a while they're like, yeah, I just went over and I just ate a baguette. I'm like, no, you're not French. You don't have to be French for like a word. Like, stop. It's okay. But I thought it was a great movie.
It's very Kevin Costner.
Definitely, like, you know, a few tough scenes, obviously. And like the fact that we kind of have to watch it twice from like 2 different like points of view was tough. So like a little bit of like a warning for everybody out there.
Trigger warning on this movie.
Yes. But other than that, like the final duel was great. And I don't even want to spoil it for anybody, but like I legitimately didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like you have Jodie Comer literally tied, like chained to a pyre, ready to be burned alive if Matt Damon, her husband, loses this fight. And you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. And like the fight goes back and forth, and like I don't even want to say who wins, but
no spoilers.
No spoilers, but it's a very intense final.
Spider-Man wins, right?
Yes, Spider-Man wins.
No, Adam, we win.
I mean, really, when you boil it down, though, technically nobody really.
Evil
wins.
dies tonight.
Technically, no one
sorry,
wins.
that's the wrong movie.
But one thing I would want to say real quick. We left the theater and I turned to you and I was like, some people might say this sarcastically or mean it as a negative, but I mean it as a compliment and a positive. The chaos of the accents in this movie is my favorite thing in the entire world. Like it's like some people are just like so stubbornly American and they don't care. Some people are trying on certain words. I don't know what Adam Driver's doing, but sign me up for it. Like it's perfect. Like and then you have Jodie Comer who actually kind of fits into what they're trying to do.
Comer is Jodie is easily the best part of this movie.
I agree with that.
Easily the best part. And
I agree with that. There's one person that we thought kind of was miscast, and then the story continues.
I'm so fascinated. I'd love to hear Ben and Mara's take on this. I thought Matt Damon was miscast in the first half of the movie. I thought he was massively miscast. And then in the second half, I'm like, oh no, he's actually perfectly cast. I think that the story, like he's perfectly cast in the second half when he's not the one telling the story. And
because when you see it from his perspective, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. And then when you see it in the second half of the movie, you're like, oh no, that casting makes sense.
Yeah. I thought because he tried to make himself Yeah, because the story is essentially 3 acts told from each character's perspective, and it's their truth and what their perspective of the story. And I thought Matt Damon's character's story was, I was like, oh, this needed to be someone younger. This needed to be someone from telling from the youthful arrogance.
Yeah.
But then later I'm like, oh, no, actually you needed someone older. Like you did need the older character that they got in Matt Damon.
I will say though that Ben Affleck I think was my favorite part.
Oh,
personally of the movie. He was so good. He's having so much fun.
Mara, hope we get to keep thoughts? all of his costumes, honestly.
I know, that blonde hair.
The blonde hair, those gold robes. Like, I hope we get to keep it.
Fabulous.
Jodie Comer may have been the best part of that movie, but Ben Affleck was by far my favorite part.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He says one of my top 2 favorite words, and he says it in such a way, it's so GIF worthy. I get so much joy from it. I can't wait till this comes out on home video, because guess who's going to clip out that and put it on their phone and make it a ringtone? This person. I'm going to get some weird looks at the supermarket because he says a real naughty word, and I really here for it.
So it's definitely Zaddy.
In a Boston French accent.
I really thought it was breathtakingly beautiful, intriguing. I did feel like it was a little self-indulgent in the sense that I don't mind being misdirected in a movie, in the sense that like I felt like we spent a disproportionate amount of time establishing Matt Damon's character, only for the story to turn, because I hadn't seen trailers. I went in, I wanted to be blind. And when I realized this was Jodie Comer's movie, I was like, oh, so why do I know so much more about your husband? And
I can see that.
I also felt like there was a significant air of studio interference without being spoilery, with how they told one version of the truth and how they effectively told us which version was the truth, particularly in light of, with only very limited research, I was able to figure out that historians greatly dispute what is the generally accepted version of the truth that the movie told. And I felt like it took the recent wave of social events into play rather than telling a nuanced story that forces us to have tough conversations, instead of just saying the easy thing that's easy to say and that's easy to digest and that's easy to like give yourself the attaboy for. So I can appreciate it, and I loved it. I just feel like I had some small issues.
I do think that is interesting, because I don't want to get too much into spoilery things, but I do think that is interesting, where they kind of do give you that hard line of this is actually the truth, and they don't really make you grapple too much with what is and what isn't.
Yeah.
Which I think they do well. The way they choose to tell the story, I think they do it well. But I do think it would have been interesting to have it be a bit more of a who do you like? Not even like a who do you believe, but like I talked about this when I talked to you about the movie, with something I think they did well with Adam Driver's character. I don't know if everyone else who has seen the movie feels this way, but I don't feel like they made Adam Driver's character just a bad person. I do think there are qualities about his character that make you go, I can't just root against him because he's just evil. Yeah. Like the way they tell his story and the way his character is developed, I do think you could have told a story where the truth is a little bit more gray, where you don't really have that hard line of who's right and who's wrong. Or
at least where the filmmaker doesn't seem to be saying it.
Right.
Like, let us choose and let us have that discussion.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like films like that when they let you, it's like not open-ended, but you get to decide what the truth is.
And I mean, I do think there's an element to the end of this movie that still kind of leaves you with, I don't want to talk too much about the ending, but I do like the ending, because I don't actually think there is a winner necessarily in the end of this movie.
I checked my heart rate during the final climax, because I'll talk with you guys offline about why I felt this way, but my heart rate was 125 beats a minute for like the last 17 solid minutes of that movie, because I was in like pins and needles. Like
Yeah.
I'm so worried about how they're going to end this movie
Yeah.
that I'm so physically discomforted I can't calm myself. It was riveting. I really encourage people to see it.
It's brutal.
It's pretty violent as well.
Oh,
it's pretty brutal.
It's great in its brutality, but it's brutal.
I felt like it's accurate too, because like warfare back then was not pretty.
I just want to say, do you remember when the whole internet was like roasting Ridley Scott for the look that he gave Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in the film?
Yeah.
I want to say it works. It actually works in the movie.
It works.
Like it definitely works. And I also just want to be like, Ridley Scott understands what the people want. Not only is he making 2 movies, he's making 2 Adam Driver movies, and the look that he allowed to happen with Adam Driver in this movie, I was like, you know what? I don't care what he's done. I dig it. I'm cool. This is great.
Well, between Mullet Damon and Ben Affleck totally pulling off being platinum blonde, like 100%. I'm wondering why he wasn't like this his entire life. I'm so here for both of those things. Like I never thought I needed to see Mullet Damon, but I needed it desperately.
Yeah. It's all of it is iconic. Like all of it is just fantastic.
All right, let's move on to our next movie so that we can bring in our other panelists and they don't just have to sit there and listen to us talking about this.
I'm hoping that we've encouraged everyone to want to go see it.
Definitely go.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest question is this: what is better, The Last Duel or Ridley Scott's debut film, The Duelists?
Ooh.
I'm going Last Duel.
I've seen The Duelist.
Right at that exact moment, the cat started pounding on my butt cheeks with his paws. So that was what that look was.
The cat.
I really want. I don't know which one.
He turned into a cat. What?
Great costume, Dan. You look awesome.
All right.